So, Katie Jones,
Why do you always get to start off?
because one time we let you start off.
Why? What did I do?
I just feel like, remember, it just wasn't funny, and I was like, Katie, it always starts off funny, and you're like, okay, well, you do it. That was last week or 2 weeks ago.
Oh my God, Ryan, you're so rude.
Okay, well, you know what, guys? Let's give Katie a chance. Go ahead.
Okay.
Start off.
I'll start off with a joke.
That's not how these things start. No, you're supposed to be like, so, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's try it out.
Is that the format,
Yeah,
Ryan?
go. So,
I realize I don't want you at my house anymore.
why? Because I don't want your cat in here because I'm going to have an allergic reaction?
I would hope so. Actually, see what I did there? Living at home.
Oh, that ties into today's topic.
Okay. Today, we are talking about, and I begrudgingly use the word, millennials living at home.
Did you want me to say something? So I was
Yeah.
drinking my water.
Format is blah, 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 blah. Oh,
So-
that's good. That's a good way to hold that.
I have my water in between my legs because Katie still isn't giving me a drink. But meanwhile, she's chugging vodka ice. So today, yeah, we're talking about how basically when you're living in your 20s and you know when you leave school and all of a sudden there's this like dynamic where it's like, are your parents still supporting you? Are they still paying your car insurance? Are they still paying your phone bill? Maybe they were never paying your phone bill. It's one of those things where like I still have friends where they have everything paid for. Meanwhile, like I was cut off. It was kind of like, what, we're going to help you through undergrad. Once undergrad ends, your postgrad's on your own. Your cell phone's on your own. Anything else is on your own. Obviously, I'm sure if I was in a really bad situation, they would probably help me out. But I was cut off. And I still know people that still are supported via gas, via living at home. And I mean, I'm lucky enough to live with relatives. But, you know, groceries. Like, groceries are expensive. Anyways, that's me going on a tangent about what we're talking about. Katie, do your quick little summary.
Okay, so basically we're talking about when is the right time or the appropriate time to go about your own financial situation alone.
Yeah.
So I have a friend that is currently living at home and has been for a while, but is also unemployed due to unforeseen circumstances. But regardless, now that's a situation where, nothing against this person, but if it were me, if I was living at home, the only way I would be allowed to was if I was working and I was saving.
Or looking for a job. If you don't have a job.
But I would be working. There's no way.
If that person is living at home due to unforeseen circumstances, the only thing I could take from that is that they probably got let go or got fired, right?
Yes, yeah.
That's what I'm saying is like they'd have to be looking for a job.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But
are they?
There would be sure. But there would also be a certain amount of time where, let's say I get fired out of my career job.
Yeah.
And okay, or let go, whatever. You know, it's not always a reflection of your work ethic. There's sometimes just circumstances.
Yeah.
But if I was living at home and I went, okay, I've got to try to get another job, you'd be obviously looking in your field because it's what you just came out of. Okay, so a few weeks go by. You're trying to go on interviews, a few weeks go by. There would be a certain time where my parents would say, that's great that you're still looking, but you need a job.
Yeah.
So go back to your serving, get a job in retail, do whatever, but you're not just going to live at home for free.
And watch reality shows.
For months on end while you look for your job. I understand the struggle so well of not getting that opportunity to start in your field.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can't just live in this world where you're not paying for anything and you're not working because you're above going back to serving days or something along the lines. If I lived at home for months and didn't pay rent and didn't pay my phone bill and, you know, ate my parents' food and didn't go and just get a job at a restaurant because I used to work in my field, I'd be thrown out so quickly, and rightly so.
And you know what? That's tough. And I went through that too, where I graduated from a post-grad and thought I was going to get a job right away in the field. And I worked some short-term contracts with the journalism media field. And there was a point though where I did feel like, well, why am I going to go work at like a restaurant or something like that when I should be working in my field? And I remember feeling that way because I almost felt like I would be embarrassed. Like, imagine someone who's seen all of my segments and then they walk into the restaurant where I'm a host.
At Denny's.
Or, like me serving in my little booty shorts at a Denny's. It's like, do they do that? I don't know.
Do we even have a Denny's in Canada?
I don't know. I think so. Or what's the other one called? Starts with an I. IHOP. I think we have at least an IHOP.
IHOP, I've been to one of those before. You know when you're saying your side, you want home fries or whatever? One of their options is pancakes.
Well, it's a breakfast place.
Yeah, but that to be your side? Like,
of course, it's a breakfast place.
No, but most things, pancakes would be an order. Like, let's say you get
a burger.
No, you're not getting a burger at IHOP. Burgers are always on your mind. He wants to go for a burger.
Oh, I do.
After this.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Speaking of which, we should go to a place then. Okay, but yes. So this is the thing. There's so many different reasons why living at home can be like accepted. Somebody that I work with, their daughter has recently started dating someone. Well, the person that she started dating is 28 years old and lives at home, and I thought to myself, I'm surprised as a young man, especially now in a relationship, you wouldn't want to get your own digs. You wouldn't want to have your own place. But that situation is a little bit different. They're extremely Greek Orthodox. So in their culture, traditionally, you don't move out until you're getting married.
Yeah.
Until then, you live at home with your mom and your dad and your siblings and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's lots of different reasons, but let's just kind of get down to something more relatable. That's North American. You're living at home because you're trying to save. I just have a hard time. I'm not going to say respecting because I'm really not a judgmental person, but seeing people that are basically just living off their parents' means because they can. And I was so fortunate growing up. I still am, in the sense of I come from a very loving family, and I was put through university, which I'm very thankful for.
Yeah.
But there came a time when they supported me financially as much as, not that they could, just to a point where enough is enough now, You want a car, you want a phone, all of these things. That's up to you, and I completely agree, and I would do the same or will do the same when that time comes. But I don't know, you just see these people that are living at home and they're not working, and I don't know, I have a hard time with it.
So, like, the story that I was saying about, like, the whole IHOP thing or whatever, it just felt for a while, I can see where your friend's coming from.
Did you say IHOP?
IHOP.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe. IHOP. Your friend, I can kind of relate in a way. For like the first couple months after you're either out of your career job or you're trying to get into your career job, it's tough to go to somewhere where, like we talked about in a previous episode of being underemployed, somewhere where you don't need the degree that you just spent all this time and hard work on to work at. Now, when my parents came into play, my dad, even before I had a job, was like, I'm cutting off your phone bill, because that was the main thing he was still paying for. That was the only thing that he was really paying for still at like 20, I guess it would have been 24, was my phone bill. Fair enough. But in the moment, I was like, Dad, like, I don't even have a job yet, and you're cutting me off. I had savings some stuff. And again, if I was in a bad situation, I'm sure they could help me out. But it was like one of these things. And I look back now, and I respect it, because they were just trying to like kick me in the butt a little bit to be like, you know what? This is how life is, and you need to get a part-time job, and you can still look for a career job on the side, but you need to work somewhere. So I did. I got a part-time retail job. I've been there for 2 years and a bit. Love the team, love the work, love the benefits, and now I'm back in school and upgrading my skills. So I think in the situation that you're talking about, even living at home, I think as long as you're bettering yourself and trying to save up money and trying to secure a future, I think it's okay. I think the problem is, and you may have had experience with this, I don't know, but when you see those people that have their car insurance paid for, have their gas paid for, have all of their groceries because they're living at home, have their transit pass paid for that stuff. It's one of those things where like, and meanwhile, they're not really growing as a person. I think that's a problem. I think it's okay if maybe you need to live at home while you're going back to school, because that costs money. You can't work as much when you're full-time school. You know what I mean? Or maybe you're in a current situation where you're looking for a career job. I think that it's okay. I think if that makes sense for you, or if it's something culture-wise to live at home, I just think that eventually in this age that you have to end up being independent.
Yeah, absolutely. And I understand that a lot of situations are different. And if you are living at home because you're really working toward that next thing, like you're back in school, and I know you know that when you finish this degree, when you receive your diploma, because there's an internship through your program, you're going to get that job and you'll be well on your way to reaching and achieving all of your goals, financial ones as well.
Thank you.
But, oh, you're welcome.
You're
But
so nice sometimes.
I know sometimes it's because I'm having vodka. Kidding. But,
She's not.
but yeah, I don't know. I mean, somebody that I know, his daughter was living at home for about a year.
Yeah.
But that was because she was saving for her own home, and she put a down payment into a home, and she moved in a few months ago.
That's great.
So things like that, big picture ideas. But lying on your parents' couch and surfing Indeed,
Yeah.
and not going and making a living in the meantime because you're above it.
Yeah.
Sorry, you want to be treated with like the adult mentality. What about you as an adult other than your age?
That's interesting. That's a really good point. Is, you can be of an adult age, but are you really an adult? And I don't think that's defined by living at home or living with family.
No,
I think it's defined of what you have planned, right? If your life revolves around watching reality shows and,
Not working, having everything paid for you.
having everything paid for, and then just like, I think when that becomes an issue is when you're not bettering yourself. Why not take advantage of that situation living at home?
Also, there's things like, and I don't know anyone's particular situations. You can let us know for those living at home or just moved out. I know that if I was living at home right now and I wasn't paying rent or anything, I would definitely be doing house chores without having to be asked, going and trying
That's
to get a bunch of groceries.
Yes.
My girlfriend right now has a younger daughter, and she moved back home after a separation occurred.
Yeah.
And she's living at home right now because she works full time and she is raising her young daughter.
Yeah.
But she has this whole plan set out for buying a house. She's a very organized person, so she has that in her favor.
Love that.
But her 1-year plan, her 2-year plan, where she
Yeah.
wants to live, the market in that area,
Wow.
all of these plans. So although she does go home and have dinner with her parents,
Yeah.
she has this whole future or 5-year plan set out that she is making sure she's achieving, she's hitting those goals. That is different.
Yes.
She's not paying rent because with having a child, it's expensive.
Oh, yeah.
But she is going, and how she contributes is not only doing the grocery shopping and buying it on her own.
Yeah.
She's making dinner. She's
Oh,
making dinner
yeah.
for her family. Not every night. I'm sure they split it.
Probably cleaning.
Cleaning. She doesn't have to be asked to, hey, grab a
Yeah.
vacuum.
Yeah.
So it's things like that. Okay, maybe I can't afford to pay you rent, and maybe I'm unemployed right now, or I'm back in school, but hey, I'm going to pick up the pieces where I can.
Yeah.
You're going to come home, and I've vacuumed the whole house.
Yeah.
And cleaned the kitchen and done the bathrooms, and I'm making dinner tonight.
Yeah.
But with a lot of people, you don't see that. And the moment anybody in life, and I can't say I haven't fallen to it many times, becomes complacent, complacency is a very dangerous place to be.
But easy to get into.
Easy to get into.
Yeah.
And
In a relationship or in a living at home situation
Or a
in your
work
career.
situation.
Yeah.
hey, and I don't fault anyone for getting into
happens,
that.
though.
It happens. But
Yeah.
shake yourself a little bit and go, okay, whoa.
Yeah.
I've been living at home for months now. I'm still not working. I'm in my mid-20s. Something's got to give here.
Yeah.
And if I can't afford to move out, I'm going to make sure that I am helping in any way that I can. Or what am I contributing to even for myself?
Exactly. Hey guys, so usually we do our social media bump, which of course we will still do, but I think the biggest thing that we want to let you know is to subscribe.
Yeah, why haven't you subscribed yet?
Why? Like, I'm pretty sure I looked at our stats and we have people listening every week, but only 50% are subscribed.
Subscribe!
Just hit that subscribe button on Apple Podcasts. It's not that difficult. Plus, you can set it up so you get a notification whenever we upload a new episode.
Because we know you're waiting.
You're waiting.
Okay,
TikTok.
KT Jones. That's my Insta.
Oh, okay. So let's jump right into it. Mine is at Ryan Durgy, RyanDurgy, and our Instagram is
this adulthood?
Is This Adulthood, and the Twitter is
ITA_. or a podcast.
Thanks, Katie. Are you liking the Twitter more now?
Twitter sucks, but that's okay.
Oh, that's kind of rude. But
everything Ryan does is great. Okay, guys, subscribe. Tell your grandma to subscribe as well.
Also rate our podcast too.
5 stars.
I think we have like 14 ratings, and it's all been 5-star. How do you feel about that, Katie Jones?
I feel like bribery has been involved. Okay, bye, guys.
Bye. You know what, Katie Jones? You are amazing. I'm going to give you props right now since I still haven't been given a drink. I brought the hummus and pita
fridge
today, and Katie Jones, she's chugging her vodka and ice.
I can't go out there because then I have to see my cat that Ryan's making me lock out of the bedroom.
You make me sound like such a horrible person. Guys, I'm allergic to cats. And last time, a couple episodes ago when we were recording, I literally, after I left, I had an allergic reaction. So anyways,
just pop an allergy tab. But anyways, why am I amazing?
Because like you're just so smart, you're just so awesome. Now what I was gonna ask you though is just those points. You're looking at me like you want more. Just those points were really good. Okay. Oh, she's crying, guys. She's literally crying. Oh, I'm sorry, Katie. Now what about if someone's living at home and let's just imagine you're single. Now we all know that you're basically wifed up at this point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're not single, but let's go back to Katie Jones' single days.
Yes.
And you meet someone and they still live at home with their parents. Is that
a turn off? Yes.
Okay, let's go into that because I can see that perspective. However, I think that if they are living there because they're back in school or because they're saving up to put a down payment on a house, I think that then I would probably look at it a bit differently.
Absolutely.
But that's the thing is like, you have to consider all of it because there's also people that have a nice condo downtown Toronto and they're in debt $20,000. I'd rather live with someone Ooh, jumping some steps there. I'd rather date someone that had a plan and maybe was living at home and saving up than someone that's going into a debt because they want to put off this image.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, again, that's totally circumstantial. If I meet somebody and he's living with his parents, as a woman in her mid-20s, I would be a bit bummed because it's like, okay, well, and especially if I was living at home, well then if that's the case, I'm in no situation to frown about it. But okay, so now that changes the dynamic. We don't have our own space, our privacy. And of course. But if this person just moved back to the country because they were living away for a while, so they're just readjusting, or if their lease on their apartment ran out and they didn't find a new one in time, or they're saving to put a down payment on a house. There's a reason with a bigger goal that they're living there. No problem. Hopefully he can move out soon, but no problem. But, I just live at home, and I'm just okay with that.
Yep.
I'm not saying it's a turn-off because I'm not in that situation, and I don't know this hypothetical person I'm making up. But at the same time, I can't exactly think I would be elated about that.
Fair enough. I mean, I went on a date with a guy one time. I feel like I could be wrong, but I feel like my listeners, I feel like our listeners, I just pulled a Katie Jones and said my listeners. I think our listeners love my date stories.
I think so too.
Okay, I'm glad we're in agreement of something. So I went on a date with this guy, and why do we always talk about dating? Like literally, we're talking about millennials living at home. But anyways, it ties into it. I went on a date with this guy. He was late, but he did tell me that he was going to be late. Like,
at least he wasn't 300 pounds this time.
Oh, 300 pounds. The guy, that story, the guy was like 600 pounds.
Oh my God.
Anyways, this guy was late and he was like, don't worry, like drinks are on me, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, that's nice. Like he's going to get drinks. He's late, blah, blah, blah. You know, maybe 10 minutes late. So I was sitting there for a little bit. Whatever. I'm going to look past it. Let's get to know him. And it turns out that he's writing a novel. Fair enough.
Oh, he met a writer?
But he's not working. He's just focused on his novel. Oh, do you write every day? No. Just when creativity sparks. So meanwhile, maybe he writes once a week, once every other day. Listen, wasn't working. Living at home with his parents. And he had done this since graduation. He'd done this for 5 years.
Oh my God.
Exactly. And he traveled a bit, but he still wasn't working when he was traveling. And from what I understood, and my perspective of it is, hey, listen, write, that's great. Be a creative, that's great. but go get a serving job. Go work retail. Do something where you're still making some income and are saving, because what if the writing thing doesn't work out? Maybe it will, but I don't think that it's a healthy situation to write whenever you feel like it and then not have anything else that you're doing.
I'm sorry,
like, pick up a
exactly.
hobby.
And I think that reflects on personal ambition.
Yes, exactly. That's what it is. And I didn't like that. That was a turnoff, because it's not even that he's not, like, even if he's working retail, whatever, but have goals, obviously. And if that's your goal, what's your goal within the retail atmosphere? Do you want to be the manager for all of the different retail stores? Do you want to, I want to see some progression, right? And the fact that he didn't have ambition enough to go out and at least work part-time, or are you meeting with publishers, right? If your focus is getting a novel out there, and then I asked him, I said, what is the novel about? Oh, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to jinx it. It's like, I don't even know what it's about.
I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah, he doesn't want to talk about it. I mean, I get it. Like, it's probably like an artist. They don't want to show you their painting till it's done.
Okay,
fine.
but that's the only thing you have to offer, and now we can't even talk about it?
Yeah, it's just like, I think you're totally right. You hit the nail on the head, and this is probably ties into living at home, is what is your ambition? Ambition is attractive. Would you not agree?
Absolutely it is. And I think that ambition is seen through many different facets as well.
Yeah.
Let's say you have that job. How hard do you work at it? Are you early? Are you late?
Yes.
Do you go the extra mile?
Yes.
Let's say you work in a restaurant. Do you know your products? Do you know your
what's on tap?
Well, I mean, that's
a basic.
Hopefully they do. But what spirits do I have? What's on the menu? What ingredients are in these dishes? That was a really big one for when I was working in Australia, because allergies are huge there. But anyway, side note, ambition comes in many different shapes and sizes to an extent, because ambition is also a very personal thing. Yeah. But at the same time, I want to be with somebody that is looking to the future, even in small steps. But just, I just live at home and I can't be bothered to work, can't be bothered to pay rent. It's just like, I don't know. Okay, next.
Thank you. Next. I think the main thing when we first brought this topic up was we're living adult lives, but we're still living. Maybe you're living, we're not living with our parents, but maybe you're living with your parents, but you're living an adult life.
An adult life with a teenage mentality.
Yeah, but I think it's happening even more often, especially in a city like Toronto. And I think sometimes it does make sense because rent is so expensive.
I know.
If you don't get a deal, or if you don't go outside the city, you may even go into debt depending on where you're working. I think that it makes sense depending on your situation. But it's just interesting to look at it from that lens, where most of our parents were married by our age. I'm 26, you're 25, right? They were married, maybe starting a family. Maybe not in every situation, but you hear of that a lot. Things have changed in 20, 30 years, 40 years.
Women are working, and women are also having children later. Before your clock was ticking at 29, people are having healthy babies at 34, 35. Really? Yeah. Absolutely. It's just changed. But at the same time, I always believe, sometimes when I get hard on myself or still working in hospitality, my boyfriend or certain people will reassure, that's great that you're still striving for something else and don't lose that. But at the same time, you're still making an honest living. Yeah. You work full time. You work very hard at what you do. You make an impact when you're there for the people you work with and the people you serve and whatever. Don't be so hard on yourself. But at least I'm showing up for a job.
Exactly. And also, you're taking initiative. You were talking about in a previous episode, because I listened to our episodes a bunch, that you, looking into event planning, you're organizing the staff. You're a leader in your role, right? Even though, you're working in a restaurant, a bar, a pub, hospitality, you're taking leadership. I think that's huge. I think if you went for an interview to say that you're a server, okay, cool. A lot of people are servers or bartenders or whatever. But the fact that you have the initiative of team management, team collaboration, event planning, being strategic about that. When are you planning these events? Who's going to be there? Just things like that I think stand out. So you're working in that role, but you're like me. No matter where we're working, what we're doing, we're passionate about it because we have to be, and we're going to try to take a leadership role. And if we get bored with it, okay, well then what's next?
Absolutely.
What are we working on next? How are we growing as a person?
I always like to enjoy what I'm doing, whatever that is. Yeah. Something that it excites me. And so, well, thank you, Ryan. We just get together and motivate each other, pump each other up.
No, Katie Jones is awesome. And I think just to wrap things up a little bit with Katie Jones looks so happy.
I always get such a dirty thought when you say wrap things up. I just have to tell you that whether you want to include that or not.
Oh, I think I'll include that because that's pretty funny. I just think that, you know what? Don't be embarrassed. Don't be ashamed if you're living at home out there. That's not what we were talking about. We're talking about in this episode really ambition. What is your plan? You're living an adult life, but you're with kind of like a teenage mentality when you're living at home.
You don't feel like you need to pay for things.
Or you know what else? Just before we wrap it up, actually, don't know. Gosh, she just put her eyebrows up and down. Have you? I don't know, because you lived at home for a little bit, and I've lived with family, but I haven't lived with my parents after university because they were in the States for a little bit, and here and there, and busy and all that. So I didn't experience this, but I think this would have happened. You go out and you come home at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. You're still seeing your parents the next morning, and they're still being, oh, so you were out late last night?
Absolutely.
Have you heard of that? Because I've heard of people where they literally are 25, and it's still as if they're 17.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, so I would say as well, I don't want to live back at home. And
yeah.
I have pretty fun, like-minded parents, so they would say, oh, well, I mean, I go out with my parents all the time.
Yeah.
They would say, oh, well, I mean, your parents don't care if you go out. Well, no, they don't. I mean, like you said, I'm 25 years old.
Yeah.
And no, they don't care, but it's still, you're still in your parents' homes.
You're their baby.
Exactly.
You're their baby.
So whether I come home at 11 or 2, it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to be grounded.
But they know.
But that's why I think I would rather spend this money in rent that I am right now and have my own space than have to be like, hi, mom and dad. You know what I mean?
You love it. I know. And then it's like, how do you bring someone that you're seeing home or a partner? Because it's still their home.
Exactly.
You still got to be respectful.
Exactly.
You can't be banging it out in the shower.
Whoa! Shout out to all those parents that have their kids and love their kids enough to let them back in the home.
That, you know what?
Because they probably think, okay, my kids 18, 19, they're off to school. Like, now I get kind of my independence back.
And they do for 4 years.
Yeah, and then you move back and you're like, sorry.
Hi, I'm back.
I can't find a job.
Well, you know what? That's unconditional love. You know what I mean? Like, I think, like, and you know what it's called? Empty nest syndrome. Yes. I don't know if there's a syndrome added on it, but it's empty nesters.
Sounds more intense if you had syndrome.
Yeah, and it's like, so they're at home, and now it's like, they they do stuff. They pick up hobbies. Like, my parents started, like, hiking and stuff. And then it's like, all of a sudden, they, like, kind of miss you, and they want to see you.
Yeah, so when you fly back, they're like, trap you.
Oh.
No.
What? No, never mind.
Okay, bye, guys.
Is that how we're gonna end it? What's the last little piece of advice you have?
My last little piece would be don't overwelcome your stay. If your parents or maybe mother or dad, single, whatever your situation is, if they welcome you back in their home because of your circumstances, that's fantastic and you're lucky right off the bat. But don't take advantage of that. Don't keep sleeping Give back and hustle. Yes. Yeah, they're letting you have your old room back. Don't stay there for too long. Prove to them that letting you back is worth it because you're going to be on to bigger and better things. The moment people overwelcome their stay in any circumstance, it's usually never a good thing. What are you doing?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
So I was typing a text. My work texted me and asked if I could work.
I keep my phone in the other room.
I was on my computer and they asked if I could work today, but I have school till like late, so I can't.
Okay, bye guys. This has been a blast.
But yeah, no, I agree with that. I think that you hit the nail right on the head, just like you always do. Give back, be a loving person, be thankful and grateful, and also always make sure. I was gonna say also make sure to slide into Ryan's DMs.
Oh yeah, slide into Ryan's DMs, guys. He's waiting
patiently. Bye.
Bye.